Hey everyone, it's Mr. Rose on here. I wanted to show you today how to make what's called a bubble chart in Google Sheets. A bubble chart is kind of a cool looking scatter plot, but it's actually kind of difficult to make if you don't know exactly how to make these things. The first time I tried making them was actually pretty difficult. I couldn't get it to work right until I actually looked up online from the Google Docs help how to actually make these things. And what you have to do is you have to make 5 columns. And the 5 columns are going to be this. The first column is going to be the labels that are going to be inside your bubbles. Okay, so you're going to have the little words that are going to go inside your bubbles. That's column number 1. Column 2 is going to be your x-axis values. Column 3 is going to be the y-axis values. Column 4 is going to be the name of the data series, and each one is going to be a different color. Okay, and then column 5 are going to be the size of the bubbles. So how does this work in terms of Google Sheets, and how does it look? So I made up an example. Right now, today is January the 5th, 2021. Big thing occurring obviously in the world is COVID. And I live in the city of Thunder Bay, so I wanted to make a small little bubble chart to compare Thunder Bay to some of the other cities in Ontario and see how does it look. So what I did was I typed in a bunch of city names here. And what I want to do is I want to graph the population versus the number of confirmed COVID cases. And then my idea was I want the bubble to be bigger if there's a bigger COVID rate per 100,000. Like if the positivity rate is higher, basically, then I want that bubble to be larger. Instead of just a plain old dot there, I want it to be a bigger bubble. So all I did was I looked at the populations. These might be a little bit inaccurate. I just used Wikipedia for it, so I don't know how accurate that is. The number of COVID cases, though, is definitely accurate. I grabbed it from a document that the Government of Ontario put out. This is from today's data. So I went and I grabbed all the COVID cases. So in Thunder Bay, we've got 604. Toronto has 62,354. This is the cumulative number. Okay. The fourth column, okay, so the first column is going to be the labels on the bubbles. Okay. The second column is the x-axis values. The third column is the y-axis values. The fourth one's going to be the colors, which I'll talk about in a second. And the fifth column is going to be the bubble sizes. You got to put numbers in here. So again, what I went with was the weekly COVID per 100,000 people rate. So I wanted to see, because that's somewhat more important actually than the raw number of COVID cases, right? Yeah, Toronto has an astronomical amount of COVID cases, but compared to its population, maybe it's not that bad. I don't know. So that's why I want to look up these numbers here. Where I got these were just from the document, the most recent values. It's now in Thunder Bay, it's 40 COVID cases confirmed per 100,000. So that's where I got those numbers from. It's just from the COVID-19 document. So it has to be set up like this. So the bubble size is on the end here. Your X and your Y, your labels go here, and then the colors go here. Now for the colors, let me just show you here. We're going to use numbers for colors. I'm just going to put them all as ones for now. And I'll show you what the graph actually looks like, and then we'll play with it a bit. So I'm going to highlight everything. I'm going to go to Insert, Chart. And by default, it made a stacked column, which I don't want. I want to scroll down. And it's right beside scatter plot. It's actually this one right here, called Bubble Chart. And that is basically it right there. So what does this thing look like? So it's kind of, oops, let me just move it over a bit here. It's kind of not that useful right now to me because Toronto is so big. It's just such an outlier compared to the rest of the province. It's like, I'd like to zoom in on this area, so I'm probably going to remove Toronto out of there because it's basically an outlier in the city, in the province of Ontario right now. You can even see it, like the numbers are just so large that it just kind of throws everything off. So I'm just going to actually remove that for now. I'm just going to copy it, delete it out. I'll just paste it here in case I need it again. But that is basically what a bubble chart looks like. So you can see that it's basically a scatter plot, but the bubbles are bigger depending on what you put in that fifth column. Now Windsor has the biggest bubble because it has the highest weekly COVID case rate. Thunder Bay and North Bay are a lot smaller. They're way down here. And what you can do right now, the colors are all set to 1. So what that means is if I change something like, say, 2, for example, then it becomes red. and then 3 would be the next color, I think is yellow. So you can label them different colors if you want. Now where that might be useful would be, for example, maybe I want to know which ones are declining and which ones are increasing. I don't know if they're all increasing or not, so let's take a quick look. So Thunder Bay, I know we're going down. It's a 60% drop. So let's leave that as a blue. How about Hamilton? Let's see if we can find Hamilton in this list here. Well, we know Ottawa right here. Ottawa is increasing, so let's change Ottawa to a different color. So Ottawa, we're going to put to a 2. So that one's red. What else do we have in here? I got a few of them to find now. Of course, now I got to find them. Toronto, well, that one is increasing, but we're not having that on our graph right now. Windsor is increasing, it's 19%. So let's go ahead and make Windsor red as well. And Hamilton is increasing, 49.3. So we'll make Hamilton increasing as well, make it red. The only one we got to check is North Bay, and I got a feeling I might have went past it already. Yeah, I think North Bay is near the top. Where was it here? I was looking at it earlier. It's actually 0, so it stayed even. So we'll just leave it as it is. Okay. So that is exactly what type of thing you can do with a bubble chart. We can see these ones are in the red. Thunder Bay, North Bay are in the blue. They're kind of shoved down here, so it's kind of hard to see them because we're so far out compared to the rest of them. But that's essentially what the bubble chart is. Now, I believe you can change these. You don't have to put numbers. You can put like decreasing, for example, decreasing, and then increasing. So you can use actual words and it'll label it like that. I know in the past I've had some issues where I put words in here and the labels don't show up. Let me see if I can do that, because by default it does give you some issues. Like it doesn't have a label on the y-axis, and even the label down here is incorrect. This should actually say population, and the vertical axis actually should say COVID cases. Should look like that. So sometimes you got to do a little bit of playing around with these things to actually get the labels correct. But yeah, there's an example of a bubble chart, why it's useful. Like I said, the different size of bubbles will show different things. And you can change the color of the bubbles, and it tells more of a story than just a regular scatter plot. But it's not the easiest chart in the world to make. It's definitely a very special chart. So again, to do one in Google Sheets, you need 5 columns. First column is the labels for your bubbles. The second column is your X values. Your third column is going to be the Y values. The fourth column is going to be the colors per word. So every word will be a different color. And then the fifth column is the bubble sizes, which have to be numbers. So I hope you find it useful. It's kind of a specialized type of chart. You're not going to use it every day, but it's really, really effective in some situations. So hopefully you found this video useful and you'll be able to use it sometime in the future.